What's going on, global friends? This is Mr. Zimmerman, and this video lecture is going to go over the second of four assignments for quarter four, which is a globalization debate. This normally would have been in class. It would have been kind of the fishbowl Socratic seminar format, and it actually would have been around this time, so it kind of worked out perfectly for that. And the question you are starting to analyze with your first project, the Is Globalization a Path to a Brighter Future? And then you picked a topic and you analyzed it. Now we're going to take that question and actually analyze it in an actual debate/discussion format. You'll notice I go back and forth on the term debate and discussion because it's a debatable question, but I always hesitate with the word debate because it implies that there's always a winner, and that's not the case. You're not trying to defeat one of the sides in this debate/discussion. You're trying to analyze all the sides. So I'm going to show you the expectations for this debate, and then I'm going to show you a sample debate to give you an idea of what this should look like. So, expectations for discussion. There are 5 required posts. Doing these 5 posts are what get you credit for this assignment. You must give a detailed analysis of what you think was the strongest reason. Just has to be one, you don't have to give tons, of why globalization is a path to a brighter future. And then you also have to give a detailed analysis of the strongest reason globalization is not a path to a brighter future. So posts 1 and 2, you're not yet posting where you stand on the essential question. You are just giving the best pieces of evidence of why it is a path to a brighter future and why it is not a path. The third step is where you then post your claim. You state why you think globalization is or is not a path to a brighter future, and the key thing, you have to support it by 2 pieces of evidence. You also need to pose a question that was raised from your analysis of the information, and you also need to respond to one of your peers' posts. It can be an answer to a question, a comment on one of their posts. Your posts need to be supported by specific evidence from the Nearpods or from your first globalization project, which, by the way, the work you did on the first project will be extremely useful for this one. When you respond to a peer, it needs to be substantial, something like great point or I agree. While I do encourage the positive feedback, that doesn't count for actual responding. I mean, that's good feedback, but that doesn't count for the 5th requirement. The discussion board, if you've tried to do it yet, you realize you can't do it yet. I will open the discussion board Thursday, May 14th at noon, and you will have until the legal definition of Friday the 15th Eastern Standard Time to make your required postings. That means 11:59 p.m. So that's 36 hours to make the posting. So you can do it as soon as you're ready to go, which I know some of you are. Some of you can wait until mid to late Friday to post it as well. So a couple norms for the discussion. Talk to each other. I will partake in parts of the discussion, but really it's a discussion amongst all of you. Refer to evidence from the Nearpods in your globalization project to support your answers. Ask questions if you don't understand what someone has stated, or you can paraphrase what another student has said. I think you said blank, is that right? Do not put down the ideas of other students without judging the student you disagree with. State your alternative interpretation or ask a follow-up question. It's okay to disagree, and that's going to happen in this discussion. Try to invite others into the conversation. Open a discussion up to multiple students makes for the strongest deliberations. The more people who are involved in a discussion, the better it gets. So, why are we looking at a picture of candy? Very valid question. So to help you understand what this project should look like, myself and my wife Steph have done a fake debate/deliberation, but instead of talking about globalization, we did this discussion about Twix and Starburst. So we broke down each of the requirements for your discussion and gave you the Twix versus Starburst analysis. Obviously, the content is different, but the way we did the discussion is just like what you're going to do with the globalization discussion. So the practice discussion is which of the following candies is superior, Twix or Starburst. You're going to do the discussion of is globalization a path to a brighter future, yes or no? So even though it's a different question, the format's going to be the same. So, discussion requirement number 1, a detailed analysis of what you think is the strongest reason for globalization is a path to a brighter future. In this scenario, Steph and I will be showing the strongest reason for why Starburst is the best candy. And this is also all available here in the global teams. I've created a channel here, Twix versus Starburst discussion board. Thursday at noon, there will be a third channel of globalization discussion board, and that's where you'll actually partake in the discussion. So if we scroll to the top, we will see, so I've posted requirements for the debate, and then right here, requirement 1, a detailed analysis of what you think the strongest argument that Starburst is the candy. So here's my response. I believe the strongest argument for why Starburst is the best candy to be the variety and value. Starburst gives you the most bang for your buck, as you can purchase a bag of 232 Starburst for only $14. That's true, by the way, I looked it up. Specifically, I always believe the pink Starburst to be most exceptional, even though I like all the flavors. Even if yellow is a little weak, it is a little weak, but that's not what we're debating. Steph argued the best argument she saw for why Starburst could be the best candy came from the article Benefits of Using Candy to Reward Good Classroom Behavior. What she just did right there is she specifically referenced one of the sources. Now this is obviously not a source that you're using for your discussion, but notice how she is analyzing specific evidence, which stated that Starburst is the best candy a teacher can use for a classroom that's reasonably priced. When you compare it to the other cheap candy that teacher can use, like Jolly Ranchers, Dum Dums, Smarties, Tootsie Rolls, or God forbid peppermints, seriously, does my teacher have a classroom of 89-year-olds? I love the shade that Steph's throwing right there. A Starburst always felt like the best reward as a student, and I always loved the thrill of not knowing which flavor you would get. I want you to notice the detail. Notice that these are not just quick, I think Starburst is the best, or Starburst is good. Notice the detail. Notice how they both reference specific pieces of evidence. 232 Starburst for only $14, referencing an article. So notice the thoroughness that we both put into this response. So, following up that, with the second step is to then present the flip side. So, in your debate, it's going to be strongest reason globalization is a path to a brighter future, and strongest reason globalization, is not a path to a brighter future. So now we flip it, and we both argue why we think Twix, what's the strongest argument for why Twix is the best. For sake of time, I'll just read one of them. I'll read Steph's because I actually respond to her. So she said the best reason why Twix is the best is the article Serotonin and Dopamine. So again, she's referencing articles right there. So just like you'll be referencing either your project or Nearpod. Serotonin is the chemical compound that stimulates the feeling of happiness and euphoria. Chocolate has been shown to boost serotonin when consumed. Therefore, it's safe to say that scientifically, Twix literally makes you happier when you eat some. Oh, and then it got posted twice. That's a simple mistake. Oh well. And so notice that for steps 1 and 2, Steph presented arguments to both sides, and I did the same thing. And then requirement 3 is state your claim with 2 pieces of evidence. So, going back here, this is where I make a stand that I think Starburst is the best, and Steph makes her stand that she thinks Twix is the best, of the 2 at least. And remember, it has to be supported by 2 pieces of evidence. So I'll keep rolling with Steph's analysis, because quite frankly, she did a better job than I did. Steph said, Twix is the better candy. In my opinion, the discussion is not even close. Her first reason is that while Starburst are tasty, notice how she's acknowledging the other side. Whenever you do this, you are showing you are reasonable. You are showing that you at least consider the other side, so that you are someone who you can have a discussion with. So she acknowledges the other side, but then she shows why she doesn't agree with it. It's incredibly annoying to me how they have the tendency to get stuck in my teeth every time I eat one. I shouldn't have to floss my teeth every time I try to consume just one piece of candy. My second reason, so notice one of her reasons was not actually for Twix, it was against the other side, against Starburst. You can do that too. My second reason is that Twix is downright loved by everyone. The Statista article did a study and found that in a 30-day period, 89% of Americans had consumed at least one Twix candy bar. Stats like that don't lie and show that not only do I like Twix, but 9 out of 10 Americans love them so much that it is a routine tradition that they take part in. So she had 2 pieces of evidence. One of her pieces of evidence was actually against the other side, which you can do, just be professional when you do that. So you see here, Steph argued why Twix is the best with 2 pieces of evidence. And if you want to read this, I argued why Starburst is the best with 2 pieces of evidence. So then the other 2 requirements, one is you have to pose a question that was raised from your analysis. So right here, question 4. I pose the question, is it actually healthy to eat Twix, or do most people overdo it so much that it's actually harmful? And then Steph posed the question, of all the chocolate candy categories, is Twix truly the best option? And the reason you pose these questions is the 5th requirement is you have to respond to a peer's post. Now I want to clarify, you can respond by answering a question or commenting on one of their posts. You don't have to answer all the questions. That is not a requirement. So for example, Steph responded to my question, is it actually healthy to eat Twix, or do most people overdo it that's harmful? Steph responded by saying, I think it boils down to the basic idea you can have too much of anything. You can consume too much water and that'll kill someone. And so Twix being a sugary product, eat a little bit, it'll make you happier. Eat too much, now you've consumed way too much sugar. Whereas the way she responded was, if we go back to the second post, this is how I responded. I did not answer a question that she posed. I commented on why she argued that Twix, or the best reason she found for why Twix is so good. I think you made a great point about how consuming chocolate boosts serotonin levels. I don't think there's many things you can consume that literally can boost your happiness in a way that chocolate biologically does. So for my 5th requirement, I did not answer how the actual question that Steph did. I just commented on something she posted. So you are not required to answer the questions, but if you can, go for it. So to summarize, for the discussion for part 5, responses I don't want to see. I don't want to see I agree, I disagree, or hey, good point, bad point. That's dumb, that's a stupid thought. You have to be professional, but also even positive ones like that's a good post or I agree. That doesn't count. They have to be substantial. It can be I agree, comma, I like how you discussed. That's what can get you credit. So let's just summarize one more time. I'm going to go back to the requirements. When you do your discussion, detailed analysis of why globalization is a path to a brighter future, why globalization is not a path. It's the 3rd step where you argue your point of view with 2 pieces of evidence. You have to pose one question and you have to respond to a peer. It can be a question or a comment that you respond to. I do want to show you, I think this will make it easier. You'll notice that we broke these into steps. I wouldn't do that. Since there's going to be 62 of you partaking in this discussion, I'm going to show you in my, we did an atomic bomb debate in U.S. history. And I want to show you how most students they did all, the 4 of them in one post, and then they went to another student and responded to the 5th. So I recommend doing all 4 of them in one post. It's not required, but it's way easier for you to keep track of, did I do everything? And then you just go to one of your peers and respond to them. I believe that'll make it much easier for you to do. So just to summarize in teams, this is the general page. I have opened the Twix versus Starburst sample discussion for you. You don't post anything in here. You're not able to post anything in here, quite frankly, but you can go here if you want to see what it's supposed to look like. And noon Thursday, I will open a 3rd channel for you to partake in the discussion. If you have any questions, you can message me, email me. I'm super excited for this, and I love saying this. Have a will of a day.